The problem with you is you're whining like a little fucking baby.
What's going on, fam? It's your boy, Papa Swolio, back with another episode of Ask Papa Swolio. Remember, if you want to be featured right here on the show, drop your question in the comments down below with the hashtag AskPapaSwolio, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And also take the time to subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast. I'll put the links in the card and the description down below. I go live every single day on my second channel, Daily Swole Podcast, right here on YouTube, and the podcast is available on every single podcast app for Apple and Android, Daily Swole Podcast, and I'll bang your ear holes every single day. I know you will like the podcast. I'll see you there. So, that being said, let's get into the first question of the day, and this one is from the Nova Wind. Papa Swolio, I go to the gym and I see people, mainly women, using the Smith machine to do either weighted back squats or leg press. Is there any benefits to working out like that, or is it just a spinal injury waiting to happen? Love your vids. Thanks, Nova. It's not necessarily a spinal injury. It could be an injury in the knees, could be an injury in the neck, could be an injury in the back, it could be an injury anywhere. I don't think that the Smith press or the Smith machine is a good place to do squats. Have I done them before in the Smith machine? Sure. If you don't have proper mobility and you do Smith machine, bugs everywhere. If you do Smith machine squats a lot, you're pretty much limiting your ability to do a free weight squat. You're limiting your mobility, your ankle mobility, your hip mobility. You can change the angle with the Smith machine, but you're also locking yourself in position. And a squat is fundamentally supposed to be an open chain exercise. And when you lock your feet in position and your upper torso in position, your knees, your hips, your joints rotate and they're restricted in where they can go because you're locked in position. It's a higher risk exercise. Not everyone's going to have an injury, but if you are squatting there, you should be squatting without a bar. So if you can squat, you should be doing free squats. And if your knees hurt or something bothers you during a free bar squat, then you need to address that problem fucking immediately, because you're going to have major issues in the future if you avoid dealing with the reasons for that pain. A lot of people go there to the Smith, oh, well, my knees hurt when I do regular squats, so they lean back into it. That's not what you should be doing. You should be doing more yoga, more corrective exercise, and deal with the issues that would lead you to avoid that pain. Don't avoid the pain. Go after the source and correct the problems fundamentally. That way you live a longer, healthier life and you do a real fucking squat. Don't do Smith squats. Jabronis. Question from Subra Deb. Thank you for your insightful tips, Papa Swolio. You're welcome. Do you think dumbbells are injury prone in the long run? Absolutely not. If you do the exercise properly, dumbbells are fantastic. Dumbbells will actually provide most people a lot more range of motion and a lot more freedom than barbells, because you can customize your grip position, you can customize where they go depending on your own body alignment and your own joint length. You can really customize and move the weights where you feel best. So that's the best way to train, is to train for your body. And the more practice you have, the more you'll learn, but dumbbells are phenomenal. I use them regularly and it won't make you injury prone. Quite the opposite if you do them correctly. Question from Gracie Shortridge. Papa Swolio, do you have any specific deadlift warm-up routine that you like to do or could suggest? Specific deadlift warm-up routine. First, I would recommend going on a step mill, the rotating stairs, not the step master or the stairmaster, unless that's all you have. I would get your heart rate up for 10-20 minutes and then do a little bit of a yoga flow. Do some hip openers, do some internal rotation moves with the hips. Make sure you do some rotation for the thoracic spine, do some squats, do some deep squats, some glute activation exercises, and then do a bunch of warm-up sets with really lightweight and focused form, like you're practicing deadlifts for the first time with just a bar with a very lightweight, and then you gradually build up. There's no magic behind a warm-up for deadlifts. Some people probably do less of a warm-up, some people probably do more of a warm-up. I personally like to do deadlifts first in a routine, that way I'm fresh, but I take my time. Bottom line, when you're doing any kind of a warm-up, you take your time, you make sure your body is prepared for the exercise. And a lot of what will warm you up for deadlifts is based on what you're doing all the time. How tight are you from previous workouts? Are you normally sitting at a desk all day long for days on end, and you just sat in a desk for 5 days straight and it's Saturday, you're doing deadlifts? You need to warm up a lot and make sure that you're moving properly. And are you doing mobility during the week so that you are more mobile when it comes to deadlifts? So you don't want to be a weekend warrior that sits around all the time and then tries to crush deadlifts and throws their back out. So it's really about constant preparation. And of course you want to warm up in the moment, but I want to bring more of a discussion and more of of a spotlight on the constant warm-up and the rolling warm-up, because what you're doing every day relates to all the days. It's not just in the moment, because you can't just activate muscles and have perfect form just because you want to, because in that moment you want to do deadlifts. You can't break through all this tightness and all this imbalance in one 5-minute, 10-minute session before a workout. So it's what you're doing all the time and what you're doing all the time for mobility. That's why yoga and mobility training is so important all the time, because it will facilitate your warm-up for deadlifts, because you won't be as stiff and you won't have as many imbalances in general. Question from Marlon Hinojosa. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you for your question. Papa Swolio, what do you think about training blocks based on a 1-rep max? So if my deadlift max is 300, my split is 80% of that max for 1 week. It goes up every week in the block, so 80% 1 week, 85 the next week, and so on till the block is over. What do I think? I think you can try it and see how it works for you. I never really got that technical with my training, and I did strength training for so long, and I did deadlifts today. I never micromanaged my workouts like that. And of course, I'm not saying that you can't, because those are very effective ways to progressively overload the body. I just always kept it very, very simple. I just trained hard. I really just trained hard. I don't think you need to really get that granular with it. You can, because what you're doing essentially is just progressively overloading. You might be dropping the repetitions, increasing the intensity, and then you're going to seesaw back down. Then you're going to drop the overall max, overall percentage, increase the repetitions, and kind of like walk up the stairs. And then as you keep on going, you're going higher and higher over the long term, which is progressive overload. But it sounds fine. It sounds like you're already doing it. So why don't you do it, see how it works for you? And if it's not broken, don't fix it. You don't need anyone's approval to make progress. As long as you're recovering properly, that sounds like it could be an effective way for you. Question from Tarja0909. Papa Swolio, can you talk about Herbalife? Nothing to say. I don't like supplements like that. I don't like the multi-level marketing system like that, so I don't promote it. I don't recommend it to anyone. It's just people that are signing up other people for recurring payments to get the company more money. They're coaches that aren't anywhere qualified to be passing along fitness information. They're just selling supplements. It's just everyone jerking each other off for a monthly recurring payment. Not a fan. Nope. Question from Sammy Acosta. Papa Swolio, what are the benefits of meditation? How should I go about it? Meditation is fucking amazing. It's great for reducing stress, and it's great for your self-awareness and understanding where your thoughts are coming from and how to deal with your thoughts and how to react and how not to react to every last little thing. So it pretty much helps you organize your brain, organize your thoughts, and be more aware and conscious of your consciousness. So everyone is going to feel something different from meditation, but it's pretty much the art of doing nothing and sifting through all the baggage and all the unopened boxes in your brain that you just push off and let get cluttered upstairs. And really your brain is the command center for your entire body. So if your brain is fucked up, which most people's are, especially with cell phones and staring at your phone and always being eye fucked with information and stuff, that's what when we talk about here about all this fitness information, it's like, man, I am where I am today when I had less information. People are inundated with information. They're so confused about getting results with training because there's too much information. So anyway, meditation helps you sift through information in your brain, your own thoughts, and gives you more perspective on who you are, how you think, and how to organize your reactions and your thoughts based on how they appear and your situation. So it makes you more present, and I would recommend going for a guided meditation app. You can look up in the App Store, you can check out Headspace, you could check out Waking Up with Sam Harris. Those are two good apps that I've tried before and I recommend to people. But you can also just sit there nice and straight up, close your eyes, and just breathe and do nothing. You're gonna have thoughts, but just do nothing. It's the art of doing nothing. But a guided meditation can help you kind of get into that routine of learning how to get your mind quiet. But it's not having no thoughts. That's what a lot of people think. It's about not thinking about anything. And that's not what meditation is. It's about allowing thoughts to come in, but also releasing them and letting them go. So it's perspective. It's like a third-party perspective in your own head. So highly recommended. Question from Oscar Penaloza. Papa Swolio, how can I learn more about the body without spending hundreds of dollars on a degree? I want to be a personal trainer, but I don't want to spend years in school. Instead, I want to grow my business and grow. Do you think someone who wants to train people should go to school, or can we educate ourselves through books and things things like that. Yeah, you are on YouTube. YouTube is literally the world's collective information database that you have access to. So you're learning right now. Right now you're watching my content, you're learning something. But it's very important that if you have a desire to educate yourself, you have to put the effort in. So you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on a degree. You don't need a degree for personal training. You don't need a degree. I have a degree in exercise science, but you fucking don't need that unless you want a lot of debt for the rest of your life. So the education system is broken, but you can go and you could do a vocational school and you could do a course for personal training that prepares you for the exam. So if you want the least expensive way, absorb yourself with YouTube videos and reading content and Googling answers and information on the certification you want. Take a prep course for that exam. Take the exam because, you have to take a test to get certified, but that doesn't mean that you know your shit. So once you get your certification, just do the minimal investment financially to get the certification and then shadow someone who has experience and then put in the work. It's going to be your free time, working for free. No one wants to hear that, but shadowing someone, offering your time to help them out, maybe help them with their clients, getting weights and stuff like that, and observing and watching the sales process, watching the communication process, the spotting process from someone who's a reputable source that you respect. And that would be my best recommendation on how to fast track your career as a personal trainer. Question from Michelle Reed. Papa Swolio, I am a 27-year-old female. Is there a way to train that increases strength without increasing mass? I am at the top of my weight range for my height in the military, so I'd like to stay within their prescribed range, but I want to get stronger. Well, you're going to have to put on muscle at some point, but you can get stronger because strength is in part muscle size, but it's also the motor unit recruitment and synchronization of those neuron fibers. In other words, the coordination of your brain triggering the fibers to contract simultaneously to produce a peak force for a strength output. So you gaining muscle mass is going to be determined by your caloric intake. So if you manage your calories, you don't eat in excess, you maybe increase your protein intake, and you train hard for strength, you can increase strength but not put on a ton of size, maybe lose a little body fat. We'll see how that goes. But if you're not trying to increase overall size, just manage your calories while increasing or progressing your strength training the best you can. There's going to be a cap. There's going to be a limit as to how much strength you're going to get at a certain weight, which is why when you go to a competition, you're doing relative strength, that someone with a smaller body weight that benches a lot or squats a lot is impressive. They go by the body weight in the weight class because maximizing strength for a specific body weight is the challenge. So just keep that in mind. Question from Chris WH14. Papa Swolio, I know that compound exercises will be extremely beneficial and efficient, but I've always heard mixed things about training smaller muscles in isolation. What's your opinion on isolating muscles once or twice a week? Does it help at all with bigger lifts and with injury prevention, or do you find it to be pointless? I definitely don't find it to be pointless. There are a lot of people now saying you should never isolate muscles. The body's a whole system. Sure, but you definitely have to focus on specific things in order to grow the whole. You can isolate muscles and still work the body as one single unit. You can do total body exercise. You can do deadlifts and cleans and squats and things like that work all muscles in the body pretty much. But isolation is excellent, especially if you want a physique, if you want max strength. I would definitely recommend doing isolation. Depends on your actual goals and your experience as to how much isolation, but isolation exercises definitely are important. And you have to isolate if you want to activate muscles. So for glute activation is pretty much the definition. It's isolating those muscles in a certain fashion to make sure that those muscle fibers are firing properly so you can integrate them properly into the entire system. So I definitely recommend doing isolation exercises as well as larger compound movements. Question from Ruth Black. Papa Swolio, is it normal for appetite to increase after starting weightlifting? Yeah, you're expending energy and your body needs energy as a replenishment. So if you start training, you're going to be hungrier. Question from BE. Papa Swolio, I'm a big fan of your channel and my question is about your boyfriend. He's 30, 175 pounds. He works full-time in a warehouse, and aside from his job, he works at a gym 4 to 5 days a week. He eats big portions of food to try to gain weight, but his metabolism makes him struggle with it. He's fit, but always tells me he wants to get bigger. Any tips on how to help him gain weight when metabolism is the issue? Metabolism's not the issue. The issue is him not eating enough food. He has to train hard, and he has to eat enough food. If you're not gaining everyone watching, if you're not gaining weight, you're not eating enough. Doesn't matter how much you think you're eating not eating enough. It says he eats big portions of food. He might not be eating 4,000 calories a day, every day. Is he doing that? I don't know. It's going to take a lot of intake and hard training. The training has to break down the muscle fibers and stimulate growth and put the body in a position where it feels like it has to grow, okay? You're trying to force a cat into the corner. You want your body to have to fucking grow. And you have to give it enough calories on a regular basis for it to have the tools in order to grow. It's not easy to gain weight. It's not easy to gain mass. It's hard and it takes a long fucking time. And what you see on Instagram and on YouTube, there is such a trend now, which is part of the bullshit in the fitness industry, that you can get results so quick. Building muscle takes so much fucking time. I just posted about this the other day. It takes so much time. So many years. It doesn't take months, it takes years. You have to bulk and train and hard, and some people have to fucking work a lot harder at it, just like anything else in this world. But if he wants to gain weight bad enough, he needs to eat more food. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for this episode of Ask Papa Swolio. Remember, if you want your question featured, just drop your question in the comments down below with the hashtag AskPapaSwolio, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to my second channel, Daily Swole Podcast, right here on YouTube. I stream daily every single day, and you can catch the podcast on every single app, on Apple, on Android. Just go to the links in the card in the description down below so you can subscribe to the podcast if you can't catch it live, or if I'm traveling sometimes I can't go live and do a multi-stream like I normally do. But subscribe to the Daily Swole Podcast. If you love Ask Papa Swolio, you will love the Daily Swole Podcast. So until next time, I'll see you on the flip. Peace out.
Click the link, motherfucker! Click the link! Click the link! Watch another video, like and subscribe. I know you want to. You know you want to. Come on, everyone knows you want to. You love Papa Swolio. You love the man bun. You love the sick fucking gains. You love it. Oh, oh, oh. You love it. Oh, 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 oh.